Hello YouTube, Scottmaster097 here. I'm going to talk today about depression. In May 2010, I was diagnosed with clinical depression, in which the depressive symptoms last 6 months or longer. I never knew I had it. I've had depressive episodes, but like most, I thought it was just being sad. But then I learned depression doesn't need a reason to be sad. You know, like people usually get down when they have a family member die or they lose a game, like a sports game. Their girlfriend breaks up with them or something. But you could, on a depression, everything could be going just fine, and it could be a sunny day, and you still feel shitty. You still feel really down. And that's what depression is. It's a chemical imbalance in the brain with like your serotonin levels. I'm no expert, but serotonin transmits through your nerve cells in your brain, the neurons, the ganglia, which are like the little endings, and they kind of transmit little between them. And when they're not transmitting or firing, as they say, like a spark plug would fire in an engine, they're not firing correctly, then there's too much serotonin or not enough. So what I take is antidepressants, a very common one known as SSRI. They are selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, meaning like they inhibit the number of receptors that the serotonin have, and they put them back on track, and they help with depression, clinical depression, and you get more motivation and more energy and things like that. I'm on, I was on Zoloft, and now I am on Wellbutrin and Prozac. I was prescribed by one doctor because he said that Prozac helps with, in my case, hypersensitivity to light and sound and whatnot. He said that Prozac can help ease that and not be so bad as far as sensitivity. And but yeah, the one downside to antidepressants like SSRIs is that they cause a decrease in libido, and that could be a problem for your sexual life. You know, even if you're single, like, you know, when it comes to masturbation and stuff, that could be a real drag. But some are worse than others. Like Zoloft is pretty bad about that, but Wellbutrin is actually better. And if you're taking them like regularly every day, then the symptoms should go down. But yeah, sometimes you have to choose whether, to put it bluntly, whether you want to be horny or happy, you know. But last year, 2014, I went through a period from April through about August, September, where I was so depressed I could not even get myself out of bed. My mom and my brother were banging on the door, wanting me to let them in. They were just wanting to visit, but I was so depressed I could not move. It's like having a heavy blanket over you. You can't move. It's like you're mentally paralyzed, you know. And that's because I was off my medicine, because I was wanting to get rid of the sexual side effects. But eventually I realized I'd rather be happy and sacrifice sexual libido for that, if it meant me getting things done but easier. And so anyway, so another thing about depression is you have very, very thoughts of despair, hopelessness, worthlessness. You feel like you're worthless, that you have no value as a person, that you're better off dead, or like one of my friends said, better off never being born, you know. And to me, that's a very, very sad state to be in, when you don't even value your own life. Unfortunately, some people get so desperate and looking for answers that there's no way out for them but to end their own life, to end their suffering. and unfortunately many succeed. Thankfully many do not, and they get caught, and unfortunately they lose their freedom. They have to be institutionalized in a hospital for about 72 hours or more, which is 3 days. But that's to protect themselves and others from threat of violence. It's not legal to kill anybody. That's murder. But it's also not legal to kill yourself, because that's a sign of insanity. When you're killing yourself, it's not legal. It's not legal to kill yourself either. So they're going to do everything they can to stop you, no matter what it is. And the more detailed your suicide attempt is, if you tell somebody, the more serious it's taken, because the more deliberate it is. So if you are ever suicidal, do not hesitate to get help. Talk to a friend. Call suicide hotline if you need. I've gotten to that point, and it's helped. I will say, I've never attempted it. I've had thoughts, and I've had thoughts of worthlessness and hopelessness and despair, but I've never had attempted suicide. I could say I never went that far, so I've never been in a mental hospital before, inpatient. So that's just the basics of depression. Besides antidepressants, you can also get exercise and sunlight and interaction with your friends and family and loved ones and girlfriends and boyfriends and all that. That's another thing. For people like me, it's so easy to be depressed, so you have to, maybe make yourself get outside before you spend the whole day inside and get depressed again. So I know people like myself are pretty fair-skinned and can't tolerate too much sun, but I was told at least maybe 10 minutes in the day of sun is enough to give me some vitamin D that my body needs, but not enough to burn. So that, or maybe 30 minutes of walking. So it's just important to get that. So anyway, I made this video to just show awareness of depression. It's very hard to understand what depression is really like unless you've been through it yourself, and that's why people, they don't understand, because they've never been through it, But anybody who's been depressed will know exactly what I'm talking about. And antidepressants are not a magic pill. They definitely make things a lot more manageable, but they don't make you happy. They can't fix your life situation, and you still have to deal with it, but it just gives you a fighting chance. So anyway, thanks for watching, and that's all for today. Like, comment, subscribe. I'd also like to thank Bleeding Eyes on YouTube user for recording this video, and stay tuned for next time.